Now, at the risk of being unpopular, this reporter places the blame for all of this squarely on you, the viewers.
On the 18th of June 2018, the World Health Organization released the 11th revision of the International Classification of Disease, also known as ICD-11. If you're not common with what that is, it's a tool that provides a global guide for health services to learn about new and existing diseases. Unfortunately, news articles have posted about this, but haven't really been clear with what ICD-11 actually says, causing much controversy to the public, focusing on the one negative trope that the media always seems to portray. Video games are bad. Are you addicted? So today we're going to break down what ICD-11's purpose is, and why people should maybe put their pitchforks down for just a few minutes and appreciate the real concern.
You could just go home and then just turn on a console and boom! You're not inside your room anymore.
Upon doing a quick Google search for gaming addiction right now, you're about to see pages upon pages of articles talking about this new ICD-11. Partnered with some livid comments, it's clear to see what the main issue seems to be with much of the public, and that's a genuine lack of education on the subject. Media and news pages have posted about this article, and that's just about it. They've copy-pasted the original text, but haven't explained what the majority of it actually means, and I personally think that's unfair. And websites could use this as an advantage to fuel their own bias or to initiate witch hunts for extra clicks. I'm going to read out to you the full description the World Health Organization provide, break it down, give some examples and comparisons. Gaming disorder is characterized by a pattern of persistent or recurrent gaming behavior, which may be online or offline, manifested by point 1. Impaired control over gaming. This means, for example, not being able to stop playing a game once you start, playing for hours on end without taking a break, or fulfilling the urge to play even when you shouldn't, like playing a game that distracts you from work or the classroom. Mobile gaming is so much bigger now as well than it used to be, and a lot of people out there seem to forget how popular it is. Point 2. Increasing priority given to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other life interests and daily activities. This means, for example, when you begin to choose playing a game over real life, social events, personal hygiene and health, forgetting to clean yourself and not brushing your teeth, keeping active, or eating too much or too little. And point 3. Continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. This means, for example, when gaming habits impact your work or school life, family or relationships, yet this doesn't stop you from gaming. For instance, you stay up all night gaming and you're consistently missing school and your grades are suffering, but continue gaming despite this. The behaviour pattern is of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other areas of functioning. The pattern of gaming behaviour may be continuous or episodic and recurrent. The gaming behaviour and other features are normally evident over a period of at least 12 months in order for a diagnosis to be assigned. This does not mean that because you've played the newest Elder Scrolls Online expansion for 50 hours in a week that you're going to be diagnosed, but something that would require a lot more time to do. We all know that feeling of experiencing a game and wanting to play as much of it as we can, and that's perfectly fine as long as we don't let it interfere with our everyday lives. What this statement means is that games must be having a severe long-term impact on your quality of life before anything can be classed as a disorder. I'm going to use an example of an episode of The Simpsons, season 5 episode 10, where Marge develops a gambling addiction. I'm choosing this example because the World Health Organization classified gambling and gaming as disorders due to addictive behaviors, and they both have the exact same 3 symptoms, according to ICD-11. In this episode, Mr. Burns opens a new casino where Homer gets hired and the family come to visit. We begin our example with Marge finding a quarter on the floor. She decides,
"Oh, what the hey?"
and inserts it into a slot machine and wins. As she then goes to leave, she checks her watch and decides to go back inside. This is our first sign, point 1. Impaired control. Once she starts, she cannot stop. This has also distracted her from the real world. Later on, Marge leaves Maggie unoccupied while she's on a slot machine. Maggie wanders off, becomes a human baby chip, and almost gets brutally torn apart by a white tiger, only to be saved by one of the bums of Springfield.
Marge, you gotta watch out! Your little boy Bart could have been eaten by that pony!
Oh my God, Barney, thank you! I would never have forgiven myself. Now you stay put, young lady.
Oh, man, that's classic compulsive behavior.
This right here links directly to point 3, as Marge is continuing to endanger her child's life even after all of this just happened. After Homer finishes his shift, he assumes Marge is there waiting for him. Here Marge shows even when her husband encourages her to stop gambling, she refuses and argues with Homer.
It's up to you.
Marge, I'm taking the car.
Now walk.
This late through the bad neighborhood?
Yeah.
Marge.
Go home, you're bad luck.
This relates to point 1 as she can't stop playing once she's began. It also connects to points 2 and 3 as this is causing a detrimental effect on her and Homer's relationship and shows no remorse. After Marge has been away from home for about a week, you can notice here the multiple ways the family is suffering.
You get the feeling this family is disintegrating? I mean, we haven't had a meal with Mom all week, and she hasn't even started my costume for the geography pageant.
The house is in disarray, Bart's running his own casino, and there's no food. Not only are her children left physically neglected, but emotionally, which we can hear from Lisa. This right here features all 3 points perfectly.
Maybe Mom just doesn't realize we miss her. We could go down to the casino and let her know.
Aw, come on, Lisa. There's no reason to...
This right here features all 3 points perfectly.
What?
In this scene, Marge comes home, late at night, to a distraught, shaken family after Homer believes Lisa's bad dream that the boogeyman is in the house. Marge apologises and admits she's been spending too much time at the casino and promises Lisa she will help her with her school project and to spend more time at home.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have been spending too much time at the casino. I'll be around more from now on.
Does this mean you'll help me with my costume?
Oh, sure, honey. I promise.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, that's sweet. It's good to see that Marge learned her lesson.
Dad, Mom said she'd be home to help me with my costume, and she's not, and the geography pageant is tonight.
Instantly here we connect Marge to point 3 again, showing even though she's aware of the consequences of going to the casino, she doesn't care and still prioritises that over her family. Homer tries to take responsibility and help Lisa by creating the sickest hit and run costume ever, but this leaves them both in tears because
I'm not a state. I'm a monster.
Homer races to the casino to confront Marge, who finally realises the severity of her gambling problem.
You broke a promise to your child.
What?
You promised Lisa to help her with her costume. You made her cry. Then I cried. Then Maggie laughed. She's such a little trooper.
Marge's gambling problem is still referenced in episodes of The Simpsons to this day, and although in this episode Marge is addicted to gambling, not gaming, in season 18 episode 17, Marge becomes obsessed with the internet, followed with spending all night on an MMORPG.
What are you kids doing up so late?
We just got up. It's 7 a.m.
I was on the computer all night.
After she goes grocery shopping, we see that she is exhausted and even says that she should get some sleep, but chooses to prioritise the game instead. Although the focus of this episode was not about addiction, we can still see Marge's addictive behaviours come through. However, Marge does not fit the criteria for gaming disorder, as although in this situation she prioritised the game, it's a one-off in this episode alone. Since this ICD-11 has been released, people have been acting personally offended and immediately jumped at defense mode, and although there may seem some justifiable reasons out there, the majority of them are just silly. Comments expressing anger towards even the acknowledgement of gaming disorders is in my opinion ridiculous, and people should be a little more open-minded and not so self-centered. Just because Kevin from Kent has friends and plays Call of Duty a lot with no problems apart from his 0.6 KD ratio, that doesn't mean there aren't any issues elsewhere. And I think this is where the misinterpretation for this disorder comes from. This doesn't mean if someone likes games and spends a lot of time on them that they have a gaming disorder. It means if an individual's gaming habits are having a severe negative impact on their life, they may need help. The World Health Organization aren't trying to stop gamers from gaming. There's over 2 billion active gamers currently on the planet. Even astronauts in space have VR. We need to accept that big companies use psychological techniques such as loot boxes, freemium gaming, microtransactions, season passes and paywalls, all targeted at people with addictive personalities. Yes, some games are more addictive than others. I mean, some are quite literally designed to make you want to play more or to buy more. An example of this would be COD World War II loot boxes. You open a crate in the headquarters, everyone sees what you get, and it makes you want to get something too. There really are vulnerable gamers out there, and we can't as a community just assume that we're all under the same mindset. ICD-11 was released on the 18th of June 2018, but won't actually come into effect or be used officially until 1st of January 2022, as it will need endorsement first. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. Let me know in the comment sections what you think of this whole ordeal and where you stand, and if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. See you next time. At the end of this video, I just want to thank everyone who's still been supporting me, and in particular the people on Patreon who have somehow still been supporting my channel even though I've been inactive. If it wasn't for your guys' support, then I wouldn't have made it through these past months. For the people who have waited the past half year for a video, I took a long break and it was really needed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Remember when I got caught stealing all those watches from Sears? Well, that's nothing because you have a gambling problem. And remember when I let that escaped lunatic in the house because he was dressed like Santa Claus? Well, you have a gambling problem.